Hello and welcome back to the podcast. Today's guest is Samina Chowdhury. She's a woman who truly embodies abundance, alignment, and empowerment. Samina is a global real estate advisor with over 20 years of experience. She is a top producer in Maryland and the powerhouse behind Samina Sells, a brand that's helping clients around the world find not just homes, but places they can fully belong. She's been featured in Forbes, Baltimore Real Producers, and Yahoo's Top 100. But what truly sets her apart is her heart. As a TEDx speaker, world traveler, and multilingual connector, Samina has built her career on honoring heritage, embracing transformation, and helping others see what's possible when they fully own their story. She's also the host of her own podcast, Own It with Samina, where she uplifts voices and shares wisdom on legacy, mindset, and unapologetic growth. Please welcome this radiant, purpose-driven soul, Samina Chowdhury, to the show. Welcome, Samina.
Thank you, Linda, for having me. It's an honor to be at your podcast. Happy to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful. Tell us a little bit about your journey. It sounds like you've been helping people for a long time. You have this huge heart. You're a world traveler. I'm very curious about everything. Tell us wherever you'd like to start, a little bit of a background on your life and story.
I was born in India and raised in Bangladesh. I have mom's side of the family in India, dad's side of the family in Bangladesh. Grew up learning Urdu, Hindi, Bangla while I was growing up. I learned all three languages and I went to a British school in Bangladesh. So that's where I learned my English as the fourth language. And so my father, before he was a businessman, he's still a businessman, but later on he grew an interest in politics. And between 2000 and 2006, he was the Secretary of State for Bangladesh. So coming from that kind of diplomatic background, we also, growing up, we traveled a lot with my parents. We looked at different countries, cultures, learned about different cultures. And you can even watch my TED Talk, which is the 3 principles of communication that connects the world. And these are principles that I came up with when I was in college. And when I was like 19, I went to college here. I first started in Boston in Newberry College, and later on I transferred to Maryland Institute College of Arts. That's when I came up with these 3 principles of communication.
Yes. Yeah, I watched your TEDx talk.
Yes, and coming from a first generation immigrant, that was my perspective.
Yeah.
And those principles help me, guide me even today with my clientele. And I feel that I bring in an extra level of connection through those principles. Because when I decided that after I graduated from college, I had an interior design degree, and I did that freelance for a few years. And then I decided, no, I want to dive into real estate. And that's when I started thriving, because what made me unique in comparison to other realtors in this area, the area I belong to is very diverse in culture. And the clientele that I was catering to, what made me unique is I told them that I take their culture, their heritage, and I fit it into today's American homes. That's where I came up. And when I was showing them houses, I made them picture their lifestyle in the houses. That just because you uprooted yourself from another country and you've migrated to the US doesn't mean that you have to forget your culture or your heritage or the lifestyle you've had there. You can still have that here, and let me show you and let me help you picture that lifestyle in the houses here. So that's what made me unique in terms of
that. I have a real estate background too.
Yes.
I remember one of my clients was from Bangladesh. I'll never forget. He was a really nice man. He was actually one of the nicest clients I ever had. And anyway, but what I wanted to ask is, so when you talk about bringing their life from another country into the home, is it like, oh, you like to cook, so you want this kind of stove? Or give us an example of how you're doing that.
Okay. In our culture, when we entertain, we don't call like 3 to 5 people like most Americans do. We call 30 people to 50 people at least. That's a 30 people party is a very small gathering for our culture. And so before even entering the house, where are these people parking? So
Mm.
giving them a perspective on parking cars and then getting into the house. Like I even cater to the Middle Eastern culture, the Indian culture, and the Bengali
Right.
culture.
With the
So
south facing front door, or it can't have a south facing.
not have anything south facing or north. East is ideal, and then comes north and then northwest, but nothing to do with south. But to tell you, there are certain aspects where I had a client who really needed a south facing because of the time on date of her birth catered to south facing. So you have to always be wary of, did you check with your priest what direction is ideal for you? 95% of the time, yes, that is the northeast is good. But there are some times where, according to your birth chart, you have to live in a south facing house. And what's most interesting is the Indian feng shui is called Vastu, and the Chinese feng shui is called, and then the Chinese have the feng shui.
Feng Shui. I
The
love
feng
Feng
shui,
Shui.
yeah, the feng shui and Vastu are opposites, believe it or not. Where
Wait,
the
what's the opposite? I'm sorry.
Chinese feng shui asks for south-facing houses.
Oh.
Vastu asks for north-facing houses.
Oh, wow. Do you know the reason behind like why the Indian people do not want a south facing door?
Because the money comes in from the northeast and stays in the house. But if it comes from the south, it goes out the north. So money is constantly leaking.
I love this. And I love that birth chart. They're brilliant people. People are brilliant over the other countries.
I'll give you a story. I'll give you a
Yeah.
story later. This was I come from a Muslim background, so we don't really believe in the Vastu or the Feng Shui or anything. But because I catered to a lot of clientele over the years with certain experiences, I started thinking that maybe, and then I did Vastu in my own house because it started getting to me like, oh my God, if this happened to this person, maybe I should check mine out.
It's because you
Um,
were raised a certain way. Doesn't mean it's the way.
and I had this one client, every time I gave him the synopsis of the house before entering, he would take the synopsis, turn it around the blank page section, and he would draw the whole floor plan of the house while he was walking through the house. And then, if he liked the house, he would fax it to his priest in India that this is the house I want, and the priest would give him a report within a day or two, and they would make the decision accordingly.
Give the blessing or not.
Or not,
Wow,
exactly.
I love that. What was it that inspired you to switch from interior design to real estate? I forgot if you shared that.
My husband and I, we wanted to do some investments in real estate. And I thought, okay, let me just take my license and just dive in. And I started liking what I was doing
That's
more.
amazing.
Yeah. And with my interior design background, it comes in handy when I get a blank, like a unfinished basement. That's like giving me, an artist, a blank canvas, say, draw this now.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
you get to get creative and create something.
yes, and my clients appreciate that they're getting an extra service on top of the real estate, whatever I'm offering. That's an
Right.
extra on top of.
Yeah. And you've received numerous awards and recognition. What do you believe sets you apart as a real estate advisor? You shared.
Yeah,
And then can you share your unique selling system and how it helps clients achieve their dream home with less stress?
I feel that real estate agents nowadays don't talk enough, and our job is to speak, and our
Advise,
job is to.
advise, right?
Yes, our job is to tell our clients how the process works and what to expect. When you have said that in detail to your client in a buyer consultation, when you have reiterated all the steps and every step of the process, whatever they were expecting from what they heard from you has happened, the trust automatically grows, Linda, I feel.
Yeah,
That
and you're
you're
transparent and you're setting the expectations. And then so gigantic because I remember a story. I love telling this story because I had a buyer consultation with some people off the internet. It was back in Michigan where I lived, and they bought the second house that they looked at. But had we not had that buyer consultation and where I explained everything to them and explained, like, I told them, I will show you 50 homes. I will do what I can until they bought the second house they looked at. And it's very creative how we got them the house because it was in the market where everything was selling over asking and waiving appraisals and all the things. But what was interesting is I know for a fact that had I not set those expectations and explained through the buyer consultation, they never would have bought the second house. They'd be like, oh, we haven't looked at enough houses. You know what I mean? So I just love that. So yeah, it's gigantic to set
It's
expectations.
very important to set expectations, and it is very important also to listen to the client. My third principle in my TED talk,
Listen.
what people say is not always what people mean. I had a client who was moving from LA to Baltimore, and because her workplace was in Baltimore City, she wanted to live in Baltimore City. And at the same time, she told me that she was in a stressful work environment all week, and in the weekends she wanted to, or weeknights also, she wanted to come to a house which gave her peace and quiet. And then I'm thinking, I'm listening to her, and she's telling me she wants to be close to work, which is the city, but at the same time she wants tranquility, and both don't gel together. So what I strategized was, I said that you're here for 3 days. This is what we're going to do. The first day, I'm going to show you properties in the city like you want to see. The second day, I'll show you properties just outside the city, what I think you should see. And we'll time the commute for all the houses. And the third day, we will revisit your favorites from the first and second, and then we'll make a decision. Well, lo and behold, she picked one that I thought she should go for. She's so happy. 2 years later, she called me and she said, there's a unit in my building that is selling. And before it even lists in the market, I want you to help me get it for my mom because I love this place and I think my mom should stay near me.
And you sold them the unit before.
I listened to her verbally and emotionally. You need to listen to the client.
And did you end up getting that double dipping both sides with the mother? That's beautiful. I love that story, Samina. That's really powerful. Tell us, as a TEDx speaker and podcast host, what message do you most want to share with aspiring leaders, especially women?
I feel that today's generation should have a little bit of courage to go for it, whatever their dreams are. And this generation, I feel, don't dream big enough. I'm a first generation immigrant, and I came to this country with big dreams. And I feel that today's generation don't dream as big as we did. And I feel that through my podcast, through people coming into my podcast and sharing the stories and what their experience has been, what their journey has been, I want this generation to know that if these people could do it, if I could do it, you can do it too.
I love it. I love
There's
that.
a way and technique to do it. And I feel that it is our goal to see that this generation thrives and they also dream big and they also achieve, because this will teach their next generation to have that courage to do it.
I love it all. Personally, I grew up with a lot of fear and scarcity thinking. And I know that my first coach, my first true coach I hired in 2017, she said, thinking big is a skill set. Thinking big is a skill set. We don't think big enough. We don't, because we have limiting beliefs thinking we can't have it.
And I have studied in the last 2 years. I'm a ongoing student, Linda. I don't stop learning. I love learning new skills, new techniques, and keeping up with the times. Now, I feel, for example, AI marketing, I feel if you don't learn AI marketing as an agent right now, tomorrow AI won't replace you. The agent who knows AI will replace you.
Yeah. Oh no, AI's been my best friend lately. I love AI. I'm really And yeah,
And
because I'm in other coaching communities and they're teaching us the usage, and it's so powerful and so brilliant. Even to write, like I have a friend, he's older and he was like criticizing AI. And I'm like, are you kidding me? If I want to write an email and I put it into AI and it comes out sounding way better. And
exactly. And then what else I'm learning is on neuroplasticity,
oh yeah.
because these are techniques that prime your brain in five, like I teach a class now. What are the ways you train your brain, you prime your brain to maximize your production?
Okay,
Of
now you have opened a can. Let's hear some of these 5 ways, please. My audience will absolutely be interested in this because I have a lot of women entrepreneurs and a lot of people that want their dreams, but they have these limiting patterns and programming from childhood. So let's hear the 5 ways. You're studying like NLP or you're studying.
I won't share five
Okay,
because I
that's
want
okay.
people to come to me, but I'll share three.
Okay.
One is visual priming. For example, I'll give you an example with each quickly. There was a studied experiment done where somebody put a coffee machine in an office, and right next to it, they put a sign that every time you use a coffee, can you put a dime here for using the coffee machine? And right above it, they put a poster of a close view of an eye watching them. And the very next week, they changed the poster to a sunflower, and the third week they put it back into the eye. So they did the experiment and they saw that the first week and the third week when the eye was there, everybody religiously put the dime, and when the sunflower was there, there wasn't quite as much people putting the dime in. So that's visual priming. The second is musical priming. There was an experiment done in Europe in a grocery store in the wine section. The first week they played German music. The second week they played Italian music. The week they went back to German music, and they saw that every time they played German music, more German wine sold. Every time they put Italian music, more Italian wine sold. So they even asked the customer, are you buying this German wine because you are listening to German? And they're like, oh no, they didn't really realize that they were actually
Mm,
drawing them to, the German wine.
that's beautiful. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Third one is imagination based priming, which I personally use before a listing presentation.
Visualize that you're getting it.
Visualize- I visualize, and I even visualize all the questions and techniques that I feel they're going to ask me for. What would be your commission? If it doesn't sell in 10 days, what is your plan of action? I feel that if I take each and every problem that they're going to ask me about, and if I prepare myself for it, and if I go for it, then, and in my imagination, I close my eyes, I see me going through all those issues, tackling all those issues, telling them about it. What I'm doing is I'm recording it into my subconscious brain so that when I'm actually faced with it, it flows as it, because it's through my subconscious, I'm saying it. Because a normal person does 35,000 different things, action steps that they take on a subconscious level on a daily basis and not
Oh,
aware of it.
oh yeah, 95% of everything is a result of our
Yeah, and the best person I can give you an example is Michael Phelps. He's our Marylander who's 29 times gold medalist. How Michael Phelps does it, since the age of 11, he's been doing imagination-based priming.
and he also doesn't he have ADHD too? I think I just read that because I just self-diagnosed myself with ADHD, and I found an amazing podcast called ADHD for Smartass Women, and she wrote a book. It's amazing. So let's see. That's so amazing. Thank you for sharing all that. I love it. I am similar to you in that I'm always learning, I'm always growing, I'm always reading. I'm actually studying Kabbalah right now and I'm loving it. It's confirming so many of the universal laws, like the Deepak Chopra stuff and so many things. Tell us about your work with women for empowerment and how it intersects with your real estate career.
Women for Empowerment in 2000, I lost a son in 2000.
I'm so
And it is not very easy to bury your child. I started thinking that why did I have to go through this process? Why does God still have me on earth and my son is gone? It should have been the other way around. And through that, I got my answer that God has me on earth to serve and help a lot of people, whether through real estate or other work. And in 2014, I actually opened my foundation with a friend, and it's called Women Number Four Empowerment. So, Women for Empowerment.org, w4e.org. That's the name, that's the address for the website. We When we opened it, in within 4 or 5 months, we were approached by the Clinton Foundation at that time, and they said that there are thousands of foundations in the US, and we only picked 6 to be affiliated with, and you're one of them. And you should be very proud because your file went all the way to Bangladesh. We've researched your accounts and everything, and you came out very clean. And that says a big thing about you. So you should feel very proud that we picked you as one of the foundations to be affiliated with. Fast forward that year, we got affiliated with the UN Foundation. Today, for the UN Foundation, on every September during the UN week, we, along with 4 or 5 other foundations, we are the hosts of this one event we have called the First Ladies Lunch, where they raise an immense amount of money from all the first ladies donating from different countries, and UN gets to pick where the money should be distributed to. Through our foundation, we've helped over 5,000 women in Bangladesh who are victims of acid attack on their face.
Oh,
We help them. We have helped a lot of women in San Diego who have crossed the Tijuana border and been sex trafficked into San Diego. We've helped a lot of women there. We put them in homes, and we teach them a skill like either catering or flower arranging like a florist, or jewelry making, handicrafts. We teach them a skill, something similar to that. And we give them mental health classes to gain their dignity and confidence back, and put them on the streets of San Diego. And now they're entrepreneurs. They don't need anybody's help. They're entrepreneurs on their own, living their own lifestyle at their own will.
That's amazing. Wow. It's incredible.
Now what I do is for me, my hobby is I love to cook. I actually unwind with cooking, de-stress with cooking, Linda, and I cook different cuisines. I love traveling, learn different cuisines. I love cooking. So what I have started doing is I do a supper club every other month, and I invite people to come and eat the supper club, keeping the cost of the materials for cooking this meal. I keep that aside, and whatever rest I make, I give it to different organizations as charity. And through this, it helps me network with new people, know new people for helping in the real estate side. And also, it helps me be a person in the community, showing my face to the name that this is what Samina stands for.
Yeah, it's beautiful. That's so beautiful. Two questions. What daily habits or routines have contributed most to your success as an entrepreneur? And how do you stay motivated and continue learning after more than 20 years in the industry?
My daily routine is I go to bed by 10. I wake up around 5, and between 5 and 8, that's my me time, Linda. I meditate, I say my prayers, I journal, I write what I'm grateful for in life. I write all those down. And as far as my routine goes, my daily routine, I write it down the night before. So my day starts the night before. Before I go to bed, I write a list of all the things that I need to do the next day, so that when I wake up, I'm not trying to procrastinate or figuring out what I need to do today. I know exactly what I need to do. Yes, do things pop up in between? Yes. But that's where we come into the picture of constantly prioritizing, and whatever is left shifts to the next day and the next day onwards. But that 3 hours in the morning where I prepare myself mentally helps me throughout the day. I'm with a lot of stressful situations, but I stay calm through it because meditation really helps in the morning.
Yeah, absolutely. And you probably have a strong faith as well.
Yeah.
So that's incredible. I love your morning practice. I have a similar morning practice. It's not exactly 3 hours, but and then so how do you stay motivated and continue learning after being in real estate for 20 years?
I feel that the more techniques we learn and keep up with the times,
Yeah.
the better our business grows. And my father always said, the day you stop learning is the day you stop growing.
You had
So,
a great dad. Great advice.
yes, I love learning new stuff.
Me too. Me too. And the ones,
Obviously, what I'm learning is helping me in my business, and I can see the change. And because I come from a creative background, I have a refiner mentality. So when one time a client came and showed me another agent who was talking in a same setting, and he pointed like, "She's your competition." I'm like, "No, she's not my competition. I'm my own competition."
yeah, good for you. That's incredible. Yeah, I agree 100%. It's so easy to compare and compete, but what really we're only competing with ourselves yesterday. You emphasize owning your story. Can you share a defining moment in your journey where this philosophy made a difference?
Yeah, I think coming from a first generation, being a first generation immigrant, and if you go to my website, the first thing you will see is, we call it a hero's video. It basically defines who Samina is as a person, what my background is, and what I bring into the table. And to answer your question, the last line in that video is, "I found my American dream, let's find yours."
That's beautiful. Oh my goodness. So what brokerage are you with today? Do you have your own brokerage or you're with?
I'm with Keller Williams,
Oh,
Lucido Agency. This is a team. We are actually the number one Keller Williams team in the world today.
oh wow.
And Bob Lucido is my partner.
Okay.
And the reason I don't have my own team and own brokerage is because I come from a culture where parents are number one priority. So I have both my parents in Bangladesh right now. And if God forbid something happens to them
Yeah,
and I need to hop on a flight tonight, I can do that with the help and support I have with my team.
yeah.
And that is
Love
number one priority. When I don't have that, maybe I can
that.
think about that next step. But right now, that is priority, Linda.
Oh
That's
yeah.
why I don't have my
Oh
own.
yeah. It's a lot of responsibility being a broker and all that. I have a couple more questions, but just between from one mother to another mother, how were you able to, and how long did it take you to heal from the trauma of losing your son?
It's,
You have your children?
I have. He was my middle one. And I went on a pilgrimage right after I lost him, like 2, 3 months later. And my dad actually took me. And I went to Saudi Arabia. I went on the pilgrimage. And at one point, he just took me 12 o'clock midnight and he's, let's go to the mosque. And then in front of the Kaaba, which is our holy site, there, he made me sit there and he said, "This is your time with God. Talk to him." And I just said to God that, he was special. You also thought so, and you wanted him back. I gave him back to you, but you have to replace him. And 6 months later, I was pregnant with my daughter.
Oh my goodness. How old was your son when he passed?
2 months,
Oh, he was a
two
baby.
10 days.
Oh, he was a baby. And you're so blessed to have a wonderful father.
Yeah.
Wonderful father. So, where was your older one when you went to Saudi Arabia with your dad?
Oh, he came with me. He was only 7.
Oh, you brought the baby. You brought him. Okay. Yeah. Oh, wow. Thank you for sharing. I just had to know how you healed. And because I know others that have
I
lost.
dived into building my own house at that time. I just totally focused because I thought I need some kind of distraction.
Oh, yeah.
I just dived into that project, building my own house. I custom built my own house because I came from a creative background. So I just deep dived into that
That's
and just
very good.
blocked my mind and just focused on that at that
Yes.
time.
Yes. That's beautiful.
And the house was ready before my daughter was born. So it was just in time for my
Nice.
daughter to come into the new house.
Oh, my goodness. Let's see. What advice would you give to someone looking to build a life and a business that feels aligned, not just impressive on paper?
I would say write your goals, and not just write your goals, but also write what would keep you from achieving the goal,
What
and
beliefs?
what are the steps you need to take to achieve the goal. Write both of them down so that you know what your pitfalls are, you're aware of it, and all the action steps, and then take baby action steps to meet your goal. And I feel if everybody does that and they dissect it to the point that you are to, if it's a yearly goal, bring it down to a weekly, what you need to do to achieve the yearly goal. And I feel that doesn't overstress you also. They're little action steps. There's a very nice book called The Kaizen Way in Japanese, and I believe in that. Take baby steps to meet your
How do
goal.
you spell that?
Kizan. And there's YouTube.
K-I-Z. Okay.
Kaizen.
Okay, nice. Because that was my next question. I was going to ask you what books or resources you recommend to every aspiring entrepreneur.
Yeah, The Kaizen Way is a good book to read.
Okay. Are there any
And the
others?
12-week year.
Pardon?
The 12-week year.
Oh, the 12-week year. I have not heard of that. You are just full of nice new things for me. I love that. What is your favorite city that you visited and why? And in one word, what does home mean to you?
Okay, one of the favorite cities is London. We love going to London, very metropolitan, and because they have a lot of the Indian culture and food that they've embraced into their culture,
I
it
love
just
Indian
feels
food.
like a second home. And we love visiting London.
Are you vegetarian by chance?
No, I'm non-veg.
But is that the way? Because my is do you normal are most Bangladesh Muslims vegetarian?
Yes, non-vegetarian. Yes, Muslims are non-veg. They
Oh, they
just don't
are. Oh,
just don't eat pork and alcohol.
oh yeah, no pork and no alcohol. I don't do pork or alcohol either. Okay. Tell us, what does home mean to you in one word?
Home means where everybody feels secured, comfortable, and out of when you go to work or you take on a lot of stress, but when you come home, a place where you can unwind, de-stress, and relax and recoup. That's what home is.
I love that. Okay. And then what trends are you seeing in global real estate and how are these impacting your clients in Maryland and beyond?
The trends is now the world is smaller thanks to all the technology we have. I call myself, when people ask me, what do you do? I don't tell them I'm a real estate agent, Linda. I tell them I'm a global real estate advisor.
Mhm.
Because I travel, every city I go to, I beforehand I connect with a real estate agent who's a top producing real estate agent, not just any real estate agent. And I ask for them a meeting at their office. I go to their office. I record a whole video on the conversation I have with these agents. For example, when I was in Dubai, I met with Farouk, one of my friends there, and we were talking, and the whole thing was a conversation that was recorded like a podcast, like you and I are talking right now. And I asked him strategic questions that if I have an investor who wants to buy in Dubai, what price ranges, what are the financing, what are the benefits after they purchase, can you do Airbnb, can you rent it out, how do you pay the rent, how do you do all that, and then tax wise what are their implications for the US and for the Dubai market. I asked all those questions, so I put it all in a podcast kind of setting, and then I put it in my YouTube video. And so what happened was people started seeing that and they started calling, oh, I was thinking of investing in Dubai. What did I create? I have sold properties in Dubai, or I've been to Dubai. I've never been to Portugal. I have Joao in Portugal. I have Mehmet in London. I have Miho
You're-
Kaisi
You
in
have agents, top agents in different countries, and you're doing referrals throughout
yes.
the, okay, because I have a client, a coaching client who is interested in global real estate, and she actually mentioned Dubai is traveling there. I love this. I'm going to send her this interview after we are done talking. That's so powerful. So you go to the city and you ask to speak to the top, one of the top producing agents, you record it, You ask them.
According to Money Magazine, Portugal is the number one city to retire. And then a lot of my clientele is buying properties in Dubai, in London, in Turkey. So I have agents in all these places. They're also bought in Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore. I have agents in all these locations.
Wow. And what kind of referral do you, I'm just asking, realtor to realtor, do you ask for a buyer? Does it depend on the price point, or is it a standard
No,
25?
we do like a 30%.
Yeah, for sellers, I always do 30, but for buyers, it's sometimes 25. And then I'm just curious, being in the real estate with the new NAR settlement where the buyers, you don't have to pay the buyer agent. Has that impacted your business in any way?
It's actually improved it.
Because why?
Because now I get to dictate what I want in an easier way and through the value that I show. And I get to even, like, for example, when I'm listing a house, I never put in what I'm going to give the buyer agent. I tell them
We're
that
not allowed to in Florida.
how to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just tell them that it depends on the offer. The seller will decide what you will earn depending on the offer that you submit.
Oh, okay. So you don't require the seller to commit to anything until that. Okay. And then yeah, it is interesting because many agents were leaving the business because they thought, I'm not going to ask the buyer to pay me.
This is the time where you show your value proposition. And we have a list of all the value proposition that we have. And now more than ever, when buyers want to negotiate the commission that they want to pay us, I ask them, okay, we have the silver package, the gold package, and the platinum. Which one? So based on what you're offering me, this is what I offer you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you give me this much, I'll offer you all this. So it is the package deal that
Yeah.
we come with now.
And then Samina, I'm so curious, like what inspired you to do the TEDx talk and to start a podcast? And then I want to talk about your podcast.
It's all, I think your network is your net worth. And the doing podcast, hosting podcast and doing TED Talk and going on speaking engagements, like where you're a keynote speaker. I'm called to Dubai every year to be a keynote speaker. And I've gotten awards in Dubai from being an outstanding leader to influencer to last December, I was Businesswoman of the Year. This year, they have another award coming for me. I'm speaking in Doha, in Hong Kong, in different states in the US. I'm speaking in all these places.
What are you speaking in? Is it women empowerment? Is it real estate? Which are you talking?
I'm talking about real estate.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. I talk about the brain priming. I talk about marketing for tomorrow's world.
You're brilliant.
I'm paid to speak to all these places.
You're helping me figure out a way to intertwine my coaching and my real estate, because real estate has been very good to me, but I've always been a very sensitive, and I fell into the career. I've been licensed 30 years in Michigan, and I moved here 3 years ago and got my license, and it's a different thing. But in Florida, everybody has their real estate license, almost everybody, but it's very different. It's interesting what's going on here in Florida right now. But real estate, I was like almost in tears yesterday driving, because it's always been helped me raise my son as a single mother. It helped me. Even here, I have referrals from Michigan and different places, and it's been a definite blessing for me. So lastly, tell us about your podcast and what is it like? I tried to check it out. You have a podcast named Own It with Samina.
Yes. We come up with a new speaker every 2 weeks.
Okay, perhaps I can be a guest. I would love that. Yeah. And then do you have some solo episodes as well?
Solo episodes? No.
No? Okay, so you're always interviewing? Nice. And what kind of speakers are you bringing?
People from all walks of life.
Okay, nice.
People whose journey should be heard to inspire others.
Yes, overcoming. And
I have a cousin. My last podcast was I actually have a cousin in London. She's a barrister who turned a chef. And she was featured in Netflix's Chef's Table season 6, Asma Khan. And she was in town promoting her new third cookbook, which is just new came out. And she was promoting that in New York. So I flew her into Maryland for 2 days. We did a supper club together where she and I both cooked. And we sold 55 of her autographed books at that supper club. And I did a podcast with her. And we basically talked about how, as cousins, how we grew up and how our love for food helped us with the community. And it still
Wow.
helps us.
Yeah,
Food brings communities together.
absolutely. That's beautiful. Yeah, I love food myself.
This was the last podcast I just did, and it should come out in the next month or two.
Beautiful. This has been amazing. Do you want
And she's a female chef with all female kitchen, and she not only does that, she's been to Lebanon, Gaza, Saudi Arabia, all these women who have been victims of war.
to, oh,
She's
wow.
helped them learn cooking and be entrepreneurs on their own because they've lost their loved ones in the war. Now they can self serve themselves and be not reliant on anybody.
I love that. I love that. That's amazing.
So her story is very inspiring, what she does, and I wanted to bring that to my
Yes.
podcast and tell
Yes.
people
That's
that
beautiful.
people like Asma Khan can do this. People
Yes.
I can be here in the US doing what I'm doing. Anybody can do it.
Yeah.
Just have to dream big.
I love it. So is there any last words? And then we'll ask people where they can find you, and we'll put all your links in the show notes.
I think
Thank
I've
you for being here.
most of it. Yes.
Is there anything
Keep
else you
keep
want to say?
dreaming, keep dreaming big
Yes, you
and
are.
write those goals.
Pardon?
And write those goals.
Write down the goals. Absolutely.
Dreams, if not written as goals, are never achieved.
Nice. I love it. Thank you so much, Samina. I love talking to you. It's been a powerful conversation, an inspiring conversation, and I hope to connect with you more in the near future.
Absolutely. Thank you, Linda, for having me. It's a
You're welcome.
pleasure.